Hi everyone, welcome back to this session. In this session, I'll be showing to us how to make a mesh top. So we can decide to make our mesh top a crop top, a long top, and you can even make it a gown. It depends on the length you want to work with. So what I'll need now is my tape measure to measure my bust for the top, my scissors, my hook, my stitch marker, and my yarn. So to measure the bust, you are going to measure it round. I'll be using the bust of this mannequin for that. So let's say this is the bust. So I'll place my tape measure round this bust and to the back. So after wrapping this my tape measure around this my mannequin's bust, I have let me check there. I have 28 inches, which means the bust of this mannequin is 28 inches. So if you want to measure yourself or your client, you need to wrap your measurement around the bust of your client. At the best position ever, you won't want to measure your client when they are off bra. I think you understand. So now I'll be working with this bust 28 inches, so I'm working with 32 inches. Remember I said your crochet waist will surely stretch, so anytime you want to work in a round and you've already measured your client, make sure you deduct 5 to 7 inches from the original measurement before starting your work. So now since I'll be working with 32 inches, so I'll deduct 5 inches, so which means now I'll be working with 27 inches like so. So now I'll go ahead and chain up to 27 inches. Now here I am. I have 102 chain here, and after stretching it, after measuring and stretching, so I have my 27 inches with me already. So I have my 27 inches. So what to do now is to connect both sides together. So just try to make sure your work doesn't twist when you are trying to connect. So I'll hold the edge of the first chain here. I'll insert my hook, then I'll make a slip stitch. So I'll make a slip stitch, and this forms a circle. So what to do next now is to start working on the row. So since I said it is mesh, what I'll do now is to start working on the meshes. So I'll go ahead and chain 7. I'll chain 7. This is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Then I'll go to this down part and count 4 stitches. 1 2 3 4 chains, and into the 5th chain I'll place a single crochet. That is that. Then again I'll chain up 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I'll chain up 7. Then I'll count 4 stitches again, 4 chains again. 1 2 3 4, and into the 5th chain I'll place a single crochet. Again I'll chain 7 chain. I'll skip 4 chains, and into the 5th I'll place a single crochet. So I'll continue doing this till I have the row, the first row done. Then I'll come back to show us what next to do. So now I'm now at the last part for this now. So you can see I'm done making the rows. So now I've already made 7 stitch. 7 chains rather. So in between here I have just 4 chains. So I'll neglect that, and I'll go into the first mesh I made here, in between the mesh I made here, just like this. Then I'll place a single crochet. You see, so the mesh for the side is formed as well. So now I'll continue again. I'll chain 7, just as I've been doing. So I'll chain 7, then I'll go into the next mesh here. Again, I'll just go in between, just like this, not into the chain, just in between the chains like this. Then I'll make a single crochet. Again, I'll chain 7, and into the next mesh I'll make a single crochet. So you can see I've already started the second row, so I'll continue this way. I'll continue making it this way till I reach my desired length. So anytime you get to the next stitch, the third row, you just move from this, just like we did here, from this upper part we move to the side. So you do the same thing for this, for the second third row as well. So once you are done making it round, for the next row you just go inside the next mesh to that, and you continue onto the next mesh, and I'll make, so I'll continue that way till I reach the length I want. So you can see this is my down part and it doesn't twist, so just make sure yours doesn't twist as well, so that you have beautiful work at the end. So I'll continue that. I'll come back to show us when I reach my desired length. Yeah, so now here I am. So I've reached the desired length I want. So I stopped at 10 inches after stretching downward. So yeah, so I stopped at 16 rows. So you can choose to make it longer if you want to make it as a gown. So you can choose to make it longer than this. So what next for me to do now is to make the sleeve. So for the sleeve, I'll have to turn my work to the down part where I started from, where I started this where I chained before starting the mesh. So then I'll fold my work into 2, just like this. This is it. Actually, initially it was in round. Okay, so now I'll fold it into 2, just like so. So after folding it into 2, I'll get my tape measure. Then I'll stretch it very well, like this. Then I'm going to get my stitch marker, just as you see here, and I'll insert into the first 2 here and into the first 2 here, where the 3.5 inch is on my tape measure. So this is the logic. Normally we are not going to work on the same circumference just as I did. Okay, so you might have a bigger body than the one I work with. You know, my circumference was 27. Actually it was 32 minus I minus 5 inches, so it was 27. So yours might be bigger or larger than that rather. So you can just choose, after folding your work, 3.5 is okay for everybody. In between here, 3.5 is okay for everybody. But if you just want to have some inch free, so you can make it 4 inches, like in between. After folding your work, for you to get where your sleeve will be, so after folding your work, then you measure from this side. You stretch your work very well. So measure from this side and you place it on either 3.5 or 4 inches. So if you are making this for a small child, so on 2 inserting your inches onto your stitch, sorry, your sleeve on 2 inches will be okay. 2 inches, 2.5 for a small size, a baby rather, I mean a child. So for others, adult, 3.5, 4 inches is okay, nothing more, nothing less. So if you try to make it 5 inches, then that means the wideness before the sleeve will be too much, and the sleeve might try to be getting off unless you want to make it an off shoulder. So now, after inserting my stitch marker into these two, so what next for me to do now is to get my yarn. So now I'll make a slip knot. So after making a slip knot, so what next for me to do now is I'll remove my hook from the knot and set it aside. Then I'll remove the stitch marker from just a side like this. So inside that same side, I'll go ahead and insert my hook into it. Then I'll pick this stitch, the slip knot rather. So I'll insert my hook into it as well and pull it through that space without pulling through the knot. Then I'll go ahead and make a chain to fasten it. So what next for me to do now is to chain up to like 6 or 7 inches. That is how it's 7 inches, 6 inches, but not more than 7 inches. Okay, not more than 8. Yeah, you can still make it up to 8 inches, but it shouldn't exceed 8 inch. It shouldn't exceed 8 inches for the front, 8 inches for the back. So that will be 16 altogether. So now I'll be going with 5 inches. That is how low I want this to come from my shoulder. So I'll go ahead now and chain up to 10 inches. Yeah, so now I have my 10 inches here. So that is 34 stitches from my side. So with the hook you might be using, it might not be up to, so you just have to get your tape measure and measure it. So after doing that, I'll remove my hook from the chain. Then I'll go ahead and remove the stitch marker from the other side as well. Then I will insert my hook into that space, and I'll get the chain and reinsert my hook into the chain. Then I'll pull it through, just the chain. Then I'll go ahead and chain 1 and fasten my hook, and that is just it. That is that about that. So I'll get my scissors and I'm done with this side as well. So I'll go ahead and do the second side that way, then I'll come back to show us. Yeah, so now I'm done with the second side as well. So this is for one side and this is for the second side. As simple as that. But you know, mainly our work here is mainly meshes, like everything chaining. So even if I want to hide my yarn, it might be a bit stressful. So what I've got here with me is a lighter. So I'll just go ahead and light it. Then I'll secure that place. Then I'll do the same thing for the other side. So just make sure you are careful while working with it so that you won't end up burning your work. So that is that about that. We are done. So, but you know, I always say this: what differentiates your work from other work is your edging. So I'll be making a tassel edging with a beaded chain tassel edging for this. So this is the edge of my work. This is the down part. So mainly, basically what I did is that I'll skip 2 match, and into the third one I'll make a chain of 12 inches. So after doing that, I'll insert my bead, then I will use my lighter to, I will make a chain, sorry, I will make a knot, then I'll use my lighter to hide the excess yarn. I'll just do that for us now. So let me get my yarn. So I'll go ahead and make a knot. I'll set it aside. Then I'll get to the side I want the edging to be, the tassel to be. So I'll go inside the mesh. I'll just go inside the mesh like this. Then I'll insert my hook and pull it through without pulling through the knot. Then I'll make a chain to fasten it. After doing it like so, I'll go ahead and chain up to 12 chain, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is it. I'll chain 1, then I'll cut my yarn. So I'll fasten it very well. So that is that. So this is for the tassel, for the chain tassel. So what next to do is to get the bead. So I'll be using a royal bead. It is like this, a red royal bead. So I'll be using this. What I'll do now is I'll already insert the bead into another yarn. So I'll go ahead and pass it into my just like that. So I'll pass it into the chain with the aid of this excess yarn. Then I'll go ahead and make a knot. So I'll make sure the knot is big enough to secure the bead without falling off. So after doing that, I'll cut off excess yarn. So I'm just left with this small yarn. Then I'll get my lighter. So you can see the knot is big enough to secure the bead, and that is that about that. So that is how I arrived with this beaded tassel edging, and we are done. So thanks for watching. So like I do say, I'll put it on the mannequin, then we'll see how it turns out to look like. So I'll be waiting for your work as well. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.